And we are live. Hello, my friends, and hello, my sister.
Hello, hello, hello.
Is with us today, and we are going to have a great time tonight. It's going to be a good time, and I'm hoping that we're going to have quite a few people who are going to jump on. I know some are on, and they aren't necessarily in the chat, but we're going to just enjoy the evening.
Mm-hmm.
Our purpose for today is to talk about how to use your kitchen to bring the best to your family. And I don't know about you, Denise, but I think my whole married career, as such, has always been about trying to do the best for the family. How about you?
I think it's trying to do the best for the family. And so much of where the family gathers and spends their time is in the kitchen. So, and if you even just look at going back, way back in time, so often the women were in the kitchen or they were gathered around the fire, but somehow or another they had the family gathered close and it had something to do with the kitchen or cooking and food.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And I see we've got quite a few who are jumping on as we're moving along. So hello to all of you. This is Life of a Home Cook tonight. And Miss Denise and I kind of tag team back and forth between homemaking with purpose on one Wednesday, which she has a bi-weekly show. And on the opposite nights, it's Life of a Home Cook. And so we're talking about a lot of things related to the family. But tonight, we decided that we were going to do something really, really, really special. And that is really to kind of nail home, not only to ourselves, but to all of you, the fact that, yes, there's the home cook, but there's also the homemaker. And Miss Denise focuses more on the homemaker in total, where my focus is more on the home cook. And so we're gonna discuss the fact of how all of that comes together. And when all of that comes together smoothly, man, the family just hums. And that's what we want. So Miss Denise is my sister by another mister from Homemaking with Denise. And of course, I'm Leona of Ebony, Ivy, and Time. And I welcome all of you to our show tonight. And I'm going to take a moment and just take this off so we can see each other and go from there. So I see that we've got, oh my goodness, we've got my Grammy is so glad to see you tonight. We've got Michelle. Hello, Michelle is with us. Yay.
And somebody else is with us.
We've got Einstein, Darwin. Hi, Denise. Any new Aldi finds?
I do have some, but we're not talking about them tonight.
We have Janet. Is it Gusbert? Hello to you. We got Darlene who is here with us. We're glad to have you all. Tawana and wise woman Lola. And she's here with us. We've got Hazel who is with us. She says she's getting ready to make some banana bread. So she's keeping.
Are you using them expensive eggs? Let us know in the chat.
Well, you know what? I'm going to tell you. Well, since you brought up those eggs, I went into Kroger the Friday evening, and do you know the egg shelf was just about empty. And this is a Kroger superstore. They've always got everything. But I don't know if it was just because it was the evening, but I think people are buying those eggs up out of sheer fear, if nothing else, that there may be a chance.
Listen, do you ever listen to Lead Farmer 76? I was listening to him tonight while I was working on something else. And he's talking about everybody should go out and buy some chickens before they make it illegal. I'm like, what?
What?
And he had been to Tractor Supply
Mm-hmm.
They have some of the cutest little baby chicks that you can buy to start your own little chicken farm.
Mm-hmm.
They were so cute. You know, at Easter time, a lot of times people will buy baby chicks or baby rabbits.
And ducks.
Yes, they had these cute little baby chicks, and he had about 5 of them in this little box. But he also had some others that he already had that he had started earlier.
Uh-huh.
He's growing his own eggs
How about that?
on his chickens, and then so they can lay their own eggs. So yeah.
Well, I guess that works if you're in a neighborhood that will allow you to do that.
Well, he was saying, whether it's legal in your neighborhood or not, go ahead and do it because they might be making some changes in rules as
Hmm.
this gets more tighter. We'll see.
Well, we'll have to see about that. But it's something to think about. Certainly something to think about. Now, Miss Denise, I have been watching
Wait, wait,
and
wait. You missed somebody.
did I wait?
Look, Lindsay, coming down.
Oh, look who's here.
Yes.
Well, hello, my precious. I got my baby girl with me tonight. You know why she's on this time of the night? That's because she's off from school tomorrow.
Not tomorrow.
From all of you, this is one of my oldest granddaughter who's with us tonight, and I have to tell you while I have her here that it was so funny. I got a text from her mom the other day, and there was a video, and I'm looking at the video, and she's in the kitchen cooking, and she's doing her Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme internationally because she's doing it all in Spanish.
Oh.
And so I'm watching her prepare her dish, and she's explaining what she's doing, but everything was in Spanish. I said, well, go on, girl. I'm gonna have to pull you in.
Did we see it, or was it just like private for her school?
She did it for her school. It was a class project, but it was.
If you let Mimi have a little clip, you got to share.
Yes. I'll have to do that. And but it was cute. I went, oh, and so you know how it is, how we grandmothers are.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about some of the things. I was just saying to Miss Denise, guys, that she has been busy.
Leona, I tell you, I have been on a roll, and I just, for some reason, I thought for February, I'm going to do a February homemaking series where I go live every day just for about 15 to 20 minutes, which has turned into 30 to 45 minutes to an hour. But I just wanted to bring one little homemaking tip, just one little something, sometimes two. And I think the biggest impetus was that I was beginning a new month. I was starting my Fly Lady for the month. And I thought people always have questions. Why don't I just share different things that I'm doing? And it just kind of morphed into this daily live stream. But it has been a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things we've talked about quite a bit is the price of eggs. And so some of the different ones I've done, I said, okay, we got to figure out, well, what are we going to do? Mm-hmm. And so I looked into what are some of the substitutes that you can do for eggs. And I did make some muffins. I made some Jiffy corn muffins yesterday for dinner because we had chili.
Mm-hmm.
And with the Jiffy, it calls for a third of a cup of milk.
Mm-hmm.
Put in a third cup of applesauce.
Okay.
They were perfect. I couldn't tell the difference. Oh. They were perfect. I'm like, oh, I had no idea. And
wow.
Then I made some apple spice muffins from that book. Mm-hmm. They were really good. And then one of our viewers have mentioned that Chef AJ and some other people have recipes all the time. It didn't dawn on me. There's a whole world of people who never use eggs.
Wow. Huh. That's true. That's true.
They have little workarounds. So I thought, well, that'll be fun. And then I got to thinking about, well, I've been spending a lot of time in the evening just watching YouTube, And then I came across these rice mixtures and then these bean soup mixes. And it was just fun to share. So I've been having a lot of fun.
I bet you have. But what really knocked me off my feet was the other night when I was watching, and I didn't get to catch it live that day. But you were making the chicken bouillon with
Oh,
the nutritional yeast. I
hmm.
went, what? Do you know
Well,
how many containers of nutritional yeast that I have gone through? But I'd never thought about using it as chicken bouillon.
I didn't either. You used it in the bouillon. Now, I will say that there was one lady that did respond to that video, and she said that she made it that way once and she didn't
Mm-hmm.
like it. Nobody else said that they didn't like it though.
Huh.
And I think I got that from Little Hill Homestead, and
Mm-hmm.
she makes a lot of good things. So I thought, well, I'm just going to have to see. I think I'll like it. And you like to use that nutritional yeast.
I do. I do. And I use it a lot when I'm cooking meat free.
Hmm.
And, but I had just never connected the chicken flavor and the nutritional yeast. But it makes so much sense. So
Hmm.
much sense.
Hmm.
So it was a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun.
It
And
has been
I
fun.
have learned a lot along the way.
Okay.
Now, guys, really, as we get into tonight's topic, the kitchen is the heart of the home. We have talked about that for quite a while, where we're trying to nourish our families, we're managing the household, we're
Mhm.
connecting and making relationships, and we're creating all of these memories. And so, we're going to try to bring to you tonight our best ideas and our reasons for the things that we do and have been doing for a very long time in our kitchens. And so I hope that you will enjoy tonight. We're going to take a look at the cooking and the homemaking and how they all tie in together. So I'm going to start with, of course, in the kitchen. Our first way to be able to use our kitchen is and to bring the best to our family is being able to cook nourishing meals and to do it with love. And
Mhm.
for those of you who are new cooks, you're probably saying, "Well, I don't know about how much love it is because this has really been challenging." And I can relate. I can relate at the beginning. It wasn't necessarily done with love. And there were days when I was coming home from work and I didn't feel a lot of love, but I did it because I knew it was best for the family. So think about the fact that when you're cooking, and this really is a scientific fact, how you prepare the meals and your energy that you put into the meals really does transfer to your family.
Mhm.
And we think of it as just being, you are full of baloney. But the
Well,
reality.
yeah, can I jump in right there?
Mhm.
Because I like what you said when you said how you prepare the meals really does transfer to the family. So, my background is in nursing, and one of the things we always have, you got to have like a theory of nursing. And
Mhm.
so my theory of homemaking is that homemaking is an art and a science. Because we say
Mhm.
nursing is an art and a science, but homemaking is an art and a science as well. And I feel like the art in nursing is what you yourself bring to the table, how you operationalize homemaking. It's either the things you put on the table, if you use little placemats, if you like little flowers, like I can tell in your kitchen, you like to have, your nice little, little plates and different kind of little decor. But that's the art, is how you make your kitchen you.
Mhm.
And the science is the way we prepare the meals. If you got to do um, a grease-free diet, or if you have to do gluten-free, or if you have to do something special because your baby has something or whatever, or if you need to swap out an ingredient, that's the science part. So I just want to jump in right
That
there.
takes you back to yeah, that takes you back to what you were doing with the nutritional yeast, finding the science, and what you did with the applesauce. It's
Mhm.
all about the science and the balance of what it is that you're doing and how you put it into that recipe. That's a science.
Mhm.
Also, we want to make sure that when we're working, that our family sees us in somewhat of a more positive realm.
Mhm.
As we're cooking, we do want to be positive. We want to, I'm not saying that we have to jump around, sing and dance the whole time that we're preparing dinner, because that's just not even realistic. But
Mhm.
we can certainly be kind, We can certainly have a positive attitude. It may mean that you may want to put on your favorite song or music while you're in the kitchen working. And if that makes you happy, and you're singing, you're happy, you're humming, whatever it is, or you may have a tune. But those are the things that we're trying to bring our family into it. I don't know about you, but usually when I was in the midst of cooking dinner, the kids and the hubby were coming home.
Mm-hmm.
And so you want them to walk into kind of a pleasant atmosphere. They've been beat up enough out
Right.
there,
I'll never forget this one thing now. He probably doesn't even remember it. And it's just a little tiny thing, but it's something that sticks in my mind. So this is when I was working probably second shift. So I was home when the kids got home. And the twins must have been around 8 or 9 because they could walk to school by themselves and they could walk back. This was in the days when you let them walk and you didn't have to worry. And I had decided to make them a treat. So I had made some kind of cupcakes or muffins or something. I don't even remember what it was. But I remember I had the little cupcake on the plate, on the two of them on the table. And we had a big bay window in our kitchen, kind of like the one right behind you. Was the front of our house. So as you came up the walk and walked up on the porch, you could see right in that window on the table. And I remember Jason looked in there and he saw those cupcakes and he ran back. And Jill must have been down the street, lollygagging with some of her friends. And he says, "Jill, come and get your treat." And it just warmed my heart that he was so excited about that treat. And I've never forgotten that. I'm sure he doesn't even remember it. I mean, my son was 50 plus now. But I remember how excited he was to come because I had a treat on the table. So talk about giving the best of ourselves to our family. Little things like that can make a difference.
You're absolutely right. And it is the little things. While we're talking, now, guys, we're going to talk a little bit about cookbooks in a little while. And so while I'm waiting, would you right here in the comment tell us what's the name of your most used cookbook? Your most used cookbook. And I'm going to give you time to work on that and we'll come back. Now, because we're going to talk about when we cook at home. Now, when you cook at home, the thing of it is that we're trying to, number one, I know I did. I tried to cook from scratch. I tried to make sure that the things that I was putting into the food, that it was the least processed as possible and that it had fewer additives. Now, so often, some additives we just can't get around. There are just some things that are in the food that we just have to deal with. And sometimes, if we're in a hurry, we're using some packaged things along the way. And so, but for the most part, we want to try to use as much fresh, whole ingredients as we possibly can to avoid some of the preservatives. And I think I do it even more so consciously now.
Now, yes.
Because we know. Back in the day, we didn't know.
Well, like Maya Angelou says, when you know better, you do better. So with our 100+ years of experience, we have learned a lot. And so I think twice before I buy a lot of those processed foods and things like that. And when I did that $30 Thanksgiving video where I got everything at Aldi for under $30, and so it was like boxed mac and cheese and all this kind of stuff. So many people commented about how much processed food was in there. Well, I wouldn't do that on a daily basis, but some people, that's all they know to do, so that's what they do.
And in some neighborhoods, this is unfortunate, but there are some parts of our towns and cities where their grocery stores are not the superstores that many of us know. And so because of that, a lot of those smaller stores sell the processed foods. And that's what they have access to because they're closer to those stores. And so I think of our inner city, and the inner cities really.
Tap and put it up on the screen. because I know
What's
what you're going to say. The very last comment I made, I put it in the chat.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I know that's what you're going to talk about. The food desert.
Yep, you're right.
And then Jean echoed it.
Okay, let me go down. Denise. Okay, I see. I see Jean. I see you.
You can tap Jean's where it says food desert. Doesn't matter.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. Food deserts. You're absolutely right, Jean. And because I can even think back when I was young, we lived in the inner city. We had one grocery store,
Mhm.
and that grocery store serviced a very large number in the inner city. And so, because of that, whatever that store carried, that was what you got.
Mhm.
But at that particular time, my mom had come from an area where they grew a lot of foods.
Mhm.
And so she was used to that. But once she thought she had arrived when she could get Jiffy cornmeal and didn't have to cook it from scratch. And, it was a mindset, and it
Yeah.
was saving time because she didn't have to cook it,
Mhm.
from scratch. And we've realized now that the cooking from scratch really was the best way to go. That was the best option. I see. I see you. There you are. Um, let's see, where am I? Oh, Nita B is saying that her most used cookbooks, when she uses them, is the older Betty Crocker. Yes, I've got that on the shelf too. And Southern Living cookbooks. Absolutely. And, I even give sometimes often the Southern Living as Christmas gifts. I
Mhm.
love their Christmas book that they put together. And I actually have a collection of them myself, of where I've done them every year for a very long time. So those are definitely some great cookbooks.
I've got a Betty Crocker too. I've got probably one of the first ones because I think they didn't come out till like about 1969 or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. In fact, I got one as a wedding gift.
Yeah.
Somebody gave me one, and
Mhm.
and I still have it. I
I
still
still
have
have
it. And in fact, for many years, I actually gave it as I bought them, purchased them, and gave them as wedding gifts to other people
And
because
Betty Crocker is not a real person.
no,
No, she's not a real person. They put that together from that corporation just to put out a cookbook. That she is not a real person.
you have got to be
Oh,
kidding.
nope, I'm not. If I'm wrong, somebody check it and let me know. But no, she's not a real person.
I figured there was at least a Betty. And
Mm.
now I didn't think it was necessarily Betty Crocker, but I figured there'd be at least a Betty.
But
Um,
I think I liked it so
Jean
well.
says here, wait a minute. He
70s.
says Betty Crocker from the late 70s through recent years. She said hers is held together by duct tape.
I believe
Wise woman Lola said
not very
Betty
much
Crocker,
anymore.
and she got it 43 years ago. I know, I know. And Jean said Betty Crocker was hers. Um, oh my goodness. Tamia said Pinterest is where she goes for her recipes, and all recipes right there on Pinterest. Pinterest does have quite a
They do.
selection. It really does. And now even Instagram, you just see all kinds of recipes that are out there that you can certainly select from. But I can tell you, I did pull some of mine, and some of these are old as dirt. And but I tell you what, I wore them out. This is my favorite I've had. This is my light is on so you can see it, but it's three books in one. It's the Crockpot Original. This is their original slow cooker recipe book that they have. And I tell you, see
Look
how
how
the
thick
sides
it
are
is.
falling apart?
Look how thick it is.
I know. I mean, soup to nuts. I mean, it is just full of all kinds of pictures are there, and they have things for entertaining.
I might
They've
have to
got
do that.
soups and stews. And the nice thing about this, I put it down in my Amazon storefront. Now, let me tell you guys, the books that I'm going to show you tonight, they are in the Amazon storefront, but I did not pay the original price that you're going to see at the top. What I do is to go down and find the new and used and select, because very often you can find a very nice used book that is there.
Oh,
Now,
on Amazon too. I didn't know that till you told me.
yes, yes. And I don't think I paid $7 for this. Not even $7. But if you buy it new, it's about 21.
Mhm.
So, and hardback. So, hey, it's the way to go. It may take a few days longer than the regular Amazon deliveries to come along, but they do. I was looking here. Here's a Tutu Loves Minnie. Mwah, love you. Fast Food My Ways by Jacques Pepin. And for cakes, she loves Cake Love by Warren Brown. I haven't seen that one. It's hard to pick. She also has How to Be a Domestic Goddess. I love Nigella.
Love nice.
And I used to love her show.
Mhm.
And, Jacques Pepin was his restaurant when we went to Europe. His restaurant was featured on the ship. So all the food that we had were from his recipes. Delicious, delicious. And, he's such a sweet person anyway. When you watch him, they said he's just delightful to work with. Um, Ruth said that she cooks a lot from Edna Stabler,
I don't know.
Edna Stabler cookbooks. She said that her late mom gave her. They are Mennonite recipes and very
I
simple
love
food.
midnight
I do
recipes.
too. I do too. And it's very simple food, but they're tasty and easy to substitute the ingredients. Oh, I love that. I love that. That's called Edna Stabler. I'm gonna have to remember that.
That down.
You got it written down? Okay.
Mhm.
So afterwards I'll say, now what was that? Okay. Now we're gonna continue and we'll come back to the cookbooks in just a little while. Um, what made me add this particular section was as we're preparing for our families, we're talking about portions, portion control. We're talking about trying to balance nutrition,
Mhm.
as we're serving our families. And what led me to that was, Dolly Parton. All of a sudden, we're seeing Dolly Parton everywhere. She and her sister did a cookbook, and they did. And it's kind of like down home food. And, you think about Dolly. And so I looked up Dolly because I knew back in the day when she was young and fluffy. If
Yes.
you
So
remember, she was
lucky.
young and fluffy. And so, and then she went through some things and changed her diet. And then all of a sudden we had this slim, trim waistline that was this big. And
Mhm.
so I thought, let me look at Dolly and see what Dolly did with that. And so what I found was, number one, she had some words of wisdom for women. And her word of wisdom was, number one, you're going to love this. She talked about the fact that she was talking about her husband. And she said that we really need, as housewives, and she said, I'm telling you this because she said it was something that she had to learn, that husbands really do pay attention to your appearance, and that if you're all dialed up when you go out, whether it's to church, whether it's to store or wherever you're going, she said, then you need to make sure that you're all dialed up at home. Woo! Stepped on my toes, stepped on my
Wow.
toes. And she tells a story about she and her husband, that she said he loved her when she was fluffy. She said, which, didn't bother her. She said, but he had certain things he liked. And so he liked, I think we're all grown, so we can talk about this, but he liked, certain lacy attire. And he also liked her hot pants. You know how she would wear those little hot pants. And so she said when she would put on the little hot pants and she'd wear them at home, because at this point she was still a little fluffy, and she was determined that she was going to, try to bring her weight down. But here's the thing, she struggled. And she said that as she struggled and was going through the struggle, she said there were just days when she didn't want to get up. She didn't want to comb her hair. She didn't want to do anything, like many of us do. We go through those moments when it's just a bad day. And she said she had to learn that just like when she was going to appear on stage, she had to put the wig on, she had to put the makeup on, and she had to turn it on for the people that she was serving. And she said, and she came to realize that at home she had to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing. And
Yeah.
she said, she said she thinks he appreciated that. When he came home, the dolly that everybody else saw, oh, it was well and good, but he had that dolly at home. And
Mm-hmm.
so, that's a powerful thing, because you think about Hollywood and the things that they go through, but they're going through the same thing that all of us go through at the same time. And it was kind of neat. And portion control was one of her big things. She said that we really do need to learn. And so, trying to balance. Now, she's a low carb person. She does low carb all week with exercise, and then she can have whatever it is that she likes on the weekend. But she does it with control. She tries not to eat too much. Now, here's the biggie. I don't know about you, but it is so hard to prepare a meal without the fat, the sugar, and the sodium. And I know you, Denise, you've been in the health field, and those three can just about take us out.
Well, not only that, but you know, we can get addicted to those things in our food. Now, when I say addicted, I don't mean it in a bad way. I
Mhm.
just mean it in a way that if it doesn't have so much salt, or if it doesn't have the sugar, whatever, it doesn't taste good. And I
Mhm.
know this week I've been drinking, I haven't been using my regular creamer because when I went to the store, they didn't have it. So I got
Mhm.
a different kind. And I'm like, oh, it's not very sweet. But I thought, look, you're eating a piece of cake that's loaded with icing. You can have coffee that's not very sweet. And I will admit that I finally just told, when my husband was getting the trash ready, I just handed him the box of cake and said, honey, just take this out with you. Because I was having a little bit of trouble resisting it. But,
Mhm.
but not only though, when you talk about the portion control and working on like the unhealthy fats, the sugar and the sodium, which is a must, and I'm going to be working more on that this month.
Mhm.
You guys know that I've been talking about, I had a relative that's in the hospital, and there's been a lot going on with her, and she's been having some struggles with her kidney. And I was like, you know what, as a Black person, I need to make sure I'm on a diet that is conducive for kidney health. Heart
Mhm.
health, since I've had a cardiac event, and then kidney health just from ethnic history.
Mhm.
So I thought, okay, so I'll be trying to do some of that. But the other thing that I try to think about, though, is that to make sure that when you're preparing your kitchen, when you're preparing your home, that you've got a kitchen that's organized.
Mhm.
Because that way, when you've got things organized the way that they need to be, it's a lot easier to prepare a meal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And goes back to your 20 item, those things that you need to have in your kitchen. We both do. Now, a
Mhm.
couple of things are, we tweaked a little different,
Yeah.
but
Well,
that's
you
based on your
like you
family.
talking about your cookbooks and Southern living. I thought, oh, I might have bought Midwest cooking, but you
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
I have since learned to value Southern living because when I was
Mhm.
first learning how to cook, I cooked. I'm in the Midwest, and
Mhm.
but I did have relatives who knew how to do some Southern cooking, so I learned some things from them. But I've expanded my palate, and I can get down now. But but anyway, though, I'm just teasing when I say that. But definitely, though, one of the things though that we want to do is, in addition to having your kitchen organized, but one of the things you talk a lot about is making sure you've got the right spices so that you can flavor
Mhm.
that food the way you want it flavored. When I go visit my daughter who lives in Georgia now, she's
Mhm.
got that Old Bay seasoning in her pantry. Well, I have some in there now. It ain't because
Mhm.
it was something that I thought about getting. She probably got it
Mhm.
when it was here, and I will use it occasionally, but it's not the first spice that I reach for.
Mhm.
But you want to have the spices that you need so that when you prepare that meal with love, as you said, it's
Mhm.
going to taste the way you want it to taste.
Absolutely.
I'll give you guys a good example: cream of wheat. Now, I know that's not your favorite thing, but and I was talking to my cousin in the hospital today. They brought her cream of wheat, and she didn't want to eat it. She said, but when my mom always made us cream of wheat when we were sick.
Mhm.
Friends come, they always know, Grams, can you make porridge? And porridge is cream of wheat, and I
Mhm.
make it with a lot of brown sugar and a lot
Mhm.
of butter, just a dash of
Mhm.
salt, but it is so good. My son is like,
Mhm.
"Mom, I got a little bit too much sugar in there." I'm like, look, they're at grandma's house.
That's right.
Once to twice a year, they get it this way. But this is the way I make it for them. And I make it that way for me. And if Blue Skies is sick, I'll make it for her.
Mhm.
But it's like I want it to taste a certain way. So I
Mhm.
get the spices that I need so that I can make it do that. So that's the other thing that we want to make sure when we're looking at the homemaking piece. And then one of the things that you always talk about is pre-chopping vegetables. Now that was something I never did. I chop everything just when I'm getting ready to cook it. I started trying to plan ahead a little bit and chopping some things up and put them in the freezer. And my husband has bought me so many different of them little, as seen on TV, vegetable slicers and choppers and all that. Because he's,
Mhm.
babe, you got to be tired doing all that chopping. But, it's therapeutic. But now when he's sitting in the family room watching TV, and if I'm in the kitchen and he hears me chop, 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 chopping,
Mhm.
it's a little bit of reassurance for him that I'm in there and I'm doing my thing and I'm okay.
Mhm.
Just little things like that is part of what you bring, to the table. Meaning you collectively, not just you, Leona, but you
Yeah,
collectively.
all of us. And it's funny you said that about him, is that even with the big guy, it's funny because he'll hear me in there, and sometimes I'll hear him talking to one of his buddies, and he'll say, "Well, Leona's in there slicing and dicing," and they'll say, "Doing what?" And he'll say, "She's in there dicing up those vegetables." Well, I know tonight we're going to have such and such and such and such, and he can tell by the sound of whatever it is. So he knows dinner is
Right?
coming. And so, husbands get used to
Mm-hmm.
our routines along the way, and they get spoiled. They get spoiled. I have to tell you, they get spoiled, and they're used to having things a certain way. And so it's so funny when some of his friends will call, and they'll say, "Well, I'm gonna have to get my wife to start doing so and so," and I'm going, don't mention my name."
Listen, that is funny. I almost had an accident there, but I remember once my husband has a fishing buddy that always, when they're getting ready to go or they're coming back or whatever, and one of them drives the boat, backs the boat up, and the other one stands in the garage, doing like this so they can get in just the right place. One day I was in the kitchen and I had my apron on, of course, when I'm in the kitchen. And so I went out there to greet my husband because I always greet him to go say, "Hey, babe, how was the day?
Mhm,
Did you catch anything?"
mhm,
And his friend commented upon me wearing the apron.
mhm.
He said, "You think if I get my wife one, she'll cook more?" I'm like, "Oh, maybe. I don't
I'm not in the middle of that one.
know. My name's Bennett."
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Now, real quick, I'm going to come over here. I see that Ruth is
The
telling
chat is
us
popping.
that she has many of the companies coming cookbooks. And I haven't heard companies coming. I'm gonna have to check that out. Um, I'm writing these things down. See, I'm making notes just like you all make notes. And let's see, here's another one. Deb said that she has a 1993 edition. That's probably about right. It was a wedding shower gift and it's barely holding together. Absolutely. Mine looks terrible. Um, all recipes is a great place to go
That's where I
online.
go when I go online. The first place I'll look is all recipes. I
Mhm.
love them.
I do too, and I also and I have one of their books. That's one of my go-to cookbooks, and this one is 2002, Quick Cooking by Taste of Home.
Love them.
And I love Taste of Home. Now,
Mhm.
did you ever go to Taste of Home's presentation? You know, they traveled around the
No,
United States for, I know they did it at least 5 or 6 years, where they had representatives and they would host, you'd pay maybe $20 for a ticket and you would be able to go. They would actually cook an entire meal from appetizer to dessert while
oh,
you were there. They give away free books, give away free cookware, all kinds of fun things. But Taste of Home really did do a great job of exciting the cook in the kitchen and showing you how easy it could be. Now, Judy's saying that she likes the church cookbooks that everybody puts together with their favorite recipes. I've got some of those too, and some of those I've had since I first got married, and they're great. You may even have some. Do you have any that are kind of your state, that are more localized to your state? Well, Virginia, Virginia has several cookbooks that are supposed to be Virginia, and all the
there's
specialty.
nothing special about Indiana cooking. Trust me. Nothing.
Don't say that. Now there's some
I didn't say it
homemakers.
wasn't good. I just said there's nothing special.
Okay, okay, but and they are fun. I see. Let's see. My Grammy is passing down her cookbooks as family treasures as they were given to her. You're absolutely right. They are
Yes.
so much fun. And I don't know how I'm going to divide it because of having four granddaughters, but I'm certainly going to be passing them down to them and letting them choose. And
You know,
I like,
you could let them choose or you could put them in a box. I saw something on, I don't know, one of the news shows packages, and there was
mhm.
a grandmother that left her granddaughter a wedding gift and said she's not to open it until she got married. And this woman died like 15 years before the wedding, but she opened it up and it was a set of china, her china. So it was
Oh,
like, yeah, so you could like divide them up, and box them up and then have each
oh,
one not to be open until you get married. Like that.
oh, how sweet.
Oh,
That
it was so
almost brings you tears.
mhm,
Ah,
mhm.
I love it. I like also there's a consignment store that is not too far from us, and I don't want I it's kind of a little hole in the wall place. When you go in, it's dusty and a little dirty, but let me tell you, they have the best cookbooks where you can just go in there and find all kinds of cookbooks. And I got lucky. I found, I had been looking someone on, and I think they're on tonight. I don't want
Fix
to
it
call
and
their name.
forget it. Love it.
Fix it and forget it.
Cooking for
And
two.
cooking for two. And
Yeah.
we had been talking about trying to find something that was focused for two people. And so I got it. I didn't pay $4 for this.
Oh,
And I mean,
my
it has 300 pages of recipes and with the pictures. And most of the ingredients that are in here, most of them, they try to focus with, just having maybe a few major ingredients. And then, of course, your spices are always going to look like a lot of ingredients, but, they've got good, very nice pictures along with it. But it is a great
That looks
cookbook.
nice.
But I love it because it's
And those are
just too
probably
simple.
ones.
Hmm.
Those fix it and forget it's are slow cookers usually. Yep. Slow
Mm-hmm.
cookers.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Yes, I know. Now, I also have the feasting with your fix it and forget it. But now this one I got after I got the one for two. And, I think I had this many, many years ago and somehow or another couldn't find it.
Mhm.
And I found it one day at the Goodwill and picked it up thinking, I don't know where that is, but I thought I had it. But I think I paid $3 for it
Mhm.
and was able to pick this one up. So I was able to pick up some of those recipes again that I really liked. And most of them are, of course, for your slow cooker, but
Mhm.
they don't have to be prepared. And that's something that probably our younger cooks may not know is that just because it says for slow cooker doesn't mean you have to cook it in the slow cooker.
Top of the stove, or you could put it in a Dutch oven and put it in the oven.
That's right. That's right. You can certainly do that.
Mhm.
We were talking about America's Test Kitchen. I like them as well. And sometimes when you watch them on television, their recipes seem or used to seem very, very involved, and
Man.
usually had ingredients that were things that you just wouldn't normally buy.
Mhm.
So I like this particular recipe book because it's just the simple little things that you can put a great dinner together that is like company worthy, that are a special night worthy, or something like if you want to do something. And the nice thing is, if you're a new cook, they even give you, I had it right here. They even show you not just the picture, but they also give you the pictures. I don't know if I can show you, but how to do it.
Oh, I love that idea.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes. And this is called The Simple Weeknight Favorites by the America's Test Kitchen. And it is the best book there is. And it's those kind of things that like we talk about on Sunday evening when we're sitting down and we're trying to figure out what we're going to do for the week. Or you may be like me, I'm sitting down trying to figure out what I'm going to do for the month
Mhm.
and then choose for the week. And that's one of those things that it gives us an opportunity to be able to look through a cookbook, focus. I usually take one cookbook for a particular period, and
Oh,
I try to find what I can within that cookbook, because when you start flipping too many cookbooks too many nights, it
mhm.
gets a little confusing. It gets
Get right
confusing.
around it.
Yeah. So at least take one cookbook a week and let that be the focus if you're going to try to find a particular book. Now, on to for those who are maybe late coming in, and certainly I am enjoying this
Oh,
conversation. This
I
has
am too.
certainly been a great time, and finding out what kind of cookbooks you all are using. I see Hazel's talking about that she even finds cookbooks at the library.
Mhm.
Got several at the library books in their sales section, none of them over a couple of dollars. Wow. Wow. That is really good. I have never been able to catch our library sale, but I know they do it.
Mhm.
But yeah, but most of the time, if you aren't there early, the good cookbooks are going to be gone. They're
Mhm.
going to be gone. I know it. And Deb's she said Betty Crocker was a fictional character that was created in 1921 as part of an ad campaign for gold medal flour, which
Yep.
gold medal flour was in my mind back in the day, in my mom's mind, gold medal was the flour.
The best flour. Yep.
Yep, it was the flour to use. And it's still a good flour. You
Mhm.
don't want to pay for
I still buy it.
yeah, I buy
If
it
I go to
too.
Kroger, I'm buying gold medal. Now, if I'm
Yep.
somewhere else, but if I go to Kroger, I'm getting gold medal.
Yep. And their prices are very reasonable. I was comparing their bread flour to King Arthur. I like King Arthur. I'm sorry, I do like them. And but I was comparing the two as I was doing those bowls of bread, and trying to see which one, if there really was a difference. And I don't want to say, because I don't want to mess up anybody's head. Because sometimes when you tell people, "Oh, this is better than that," that then they think, okay, she said it was better, so they automatically go with it. But the reality of it is that once you put those two recipes together, whether it's gold medal, or whether it's King Arthur, if you do it, you follow your recipe and you do it correctly, the product is going to come out and it's going to be just fine. So don't think you always have to buy necessarily the higher brand. Um,
One of the things, oh, go ahead.
Charlene was saying that she shops the used section on Amazon as well. We were talking about with the books, to
Mhm.
go to that used section. Absolutely. Go ahead, Denise. You were saying
I
something.
was just thinking about, like, we're talking a lot about cookbooks, and like I would like to sit at the kitchen table with a cookbook and a cup of coffee and just kind of look at the pictures and see what it is I'm planning for the week. So as I plan my meals, I'm doing that. And the kitchen is one of those places where I like to do that. And like my husband, he'll be in the family room, which is like over there, and the kitchen is back here,
Mhm.
and he can like see the top of my head from like the chairs and the different things that are in the way, but he gets a certain amount of comfort from being able to just kind of see me or hear me in there at the table.
Mhm.
And I find that I do like to sit there. It's a nice quiet place for me
Mhm.
to sit. And whereas I'm in the kitchen, I could be looking at my iPad, um, doing some research, or I could be
Mhm.
or looking at a cookbook. I get comfort too from hearing him in the other room. Sometimes I say, "Babe, could you turn that TV down just a little bit?" But I do enjoy being able to like hear him in the other room too.
Mhm.
Whereas we talk about the kitchen as being a gathering place, it can
Mhm.
also be a quiet place to just kind of relax.
That's true. That is so true. I agree with that. I used to. I don't know if you did, but my kids sat right here in the kitchen and did their homework.
They did their homework in the kitchen.
And it wasn't that, somebody asked, would, oh, your mom stands over you? And because they knew I was a teacher. So they just figured because they were in the kitchen, they thought I was going to stand over them while they, I didn't do that. I was over there cooking, but they were comfortable with me being in the kitchen. And if they wanted to talk or whatever it was, we could. And I was comfortable because I knew they were here.
And
And
this is
so,
doing what they needed to be doing. They were doing their work,
mhm,
playing around or something like that. So I
mhm.
think a lot of families, now I would be interested to know what our viewers think, but I think a lot of families, they do their homework in the kitchen because it's
Mhm.
cozy and it's comfortable.
It is.
And even way, way, way back before people had houses like we have today,
Mhm.
and they had a coal stove or not a coal stove, but a wood stove and that kind
Mhm.
of thing, they gathered close to where that was, which is typically the kitchen area.
Mhm. Mhm. And I'm trying to think of this lady's name. There's a lady on YouTube, and in her kitchen, she has a wood burning stove, and she said it was funny. One day, her grandchildren were there, and they were reading books, and they were all gathered around the wood burning stove while she was cooking. She was making bread, and it was like it was so homey. You could just feel the love right there.
Mhm.
And every now and then she'd say something, to them, or they would say something funny to her, and it was just a little banter back and forth. But Denise, the thing of it is, one of the things that we talked about as a gathering place too, is the fact that we want to get back to
Yes, yes. We want to get back to being a
having so important,
mhm,
to really say, to really talk with our family, talk with our children.
mhm,
They've been so tuned in. Now the kids have computers all day, and they're bringing the computer home and they're doing homework on the
mhm.
computer. They see more of that computer than they do anybody. And so it's nice to be able to turn that computer off and actually have a nice conversation. And that's
Well, I
something.
know one of my friends, um, she used to, like, when it was time for dinner, everybody's phone went into a basket
Mhm,
and they sat on the fireplace and they
mhm,
sat at the table and talked to one another like we used to do years ago. They sat at the table
mhm,
and talked. And you could ask your family about their day,
mhm,
or if they just said fine or good, then you could ask them questions in some other way, but something to stimulate conversation.
mhm,
Going on in current events, what happened at school? What did you see? Have you talked to so and so? But, like you said, come back to the table and talk to one another.
mhm, mhm. We even talked about the wash. Sometimes, so and so, did you put the so and so in the wash? And I'm shouting to whomever it is, who's up there, make sure that you put the so and so and do the so and so. And I know, of course, you're fortunate because your laundry room, I believe, is kind of right off your kitchen, where here our laundry rooms upstairs, and
Oh,
so we're trying to make sure that you monitor what's going on. But they would do that. I'd have maybe little snacks or hot chocolate if it was cold, or some lemonade when in the summer. But getting our children are going through, as well as our husbands, the stressfulness that they're going through. There's a lot of work for students to do, and it
mm,
was for us as well. But we knew we could come home and find comfort, and
yeah,
so we want to be able to bring that atmosphere back. And one thing too, to be able to establish that in our home is helping all of us to want to come back to this place. And
yeah,
and everybody talks. They say, when everybody comes to your house, we all end up in the kitchen, and they look at each other with this question mark, and and these are grown people, and they
mm,
say, we all end up here in the kitchen. And I mean, I can have 25 people standing here in the kitchen, and it's so funny because I'll say, guys, let's go into the family room. I can't get them out of here. Everybody wants to
and
stay
it's
in here.
cozy, it's comfortable,
Yeah,
and it's easy in the kitchen.
it's a place to be.
Hmm.
Now, traditions. Something that I know I noticed when I was still in the classroom and going to lunch with the kids. So many children, because they're ripping and running, they're going to activities in the afternoon. Sometimes mom is able to sit down and actually put a good meal together. Sometimes they're getting that meal on the run. Um, some of the practices are somewhat going out the door. And
Hmm.
it seems like grandmothers are the ones that are trying to bring back those traditions of teaching children how to set the table, or
Yes.
how to eat at the table, not
Hmm.
to have your elbows on the table, all of those things. Now, I don't know about for you, that was something we learned at the dinner table
Yes.
because we ate there
Mhm.
every night, and you always learn that you ate with one hand, you put that hand down, you did so and so, you used your napkin, you learned how to cut, you learned all those things. So that's a part of teaching your family, and they're
Well,
able to.
basic manners and
Mhm,
table manners and things like that. That when you're eating lunch at the cafeteria, kids aren't so focused on that. But that's not the only place they're going to end up eating lunch in their lifetime. So they
mhm,
need to be able to at least know how to eat at the table properly when they leave home. Not necessarily always at school, but they're going to end up going to like committee meetings and stuff like that when they get in high school for different little internships or whatever,
mhm,
when they get a job. So they'll need to learn those soft skills, uh,
mhm,
young people. And one of the things that, well, my husband tries to do from time to time is spend too much time eating in front of the TV. And when Yes. And when he retired and then I retired, he's going to take a plate. I'm like, oh, no, 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 no. I said, this family eats at the table together in the kitchen. I said, we eat together. We're
Mm-hmm.
not going to start that habit.
Mm-hmm.
So every now and then, like he'll sometimes for lunch, especially if I'm busy, I'll say, okay, so you want to eat in front of you can. But
Mm-hmm.
most of the time, we still eat at the kitchen table
Mm-hmm.
together because it just helps you to stay connected, I think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
One way that you can use your kitchen to the best advantage for your family is you eat together as a family. And I did some research on that at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And families that eat meals together, their children do better in school.
That's true. That's true. And you find that the families that eat meals together too, and I can tell you this, I've seen it. Those children are the ones in the cafeteria who really do carry over many of their family behaviors, their manners. They carry that over. Even they don't even realize it, but they're carrying that over into the
Mm,
cafeteria. And so it's so nice. It's
mhm.
so nice to be able to experience that. I'm gonna jump over here. I see cream of wheat was the topic that E. Starkey said.
Oh,
Cream of wheat with brown sugar and butter. Mm,
yeah,
mm,
pretty.
mm. Jean says she likes cream of wheat as well. And oh goodness, Florence said she likes cream of wheat.
It's
Oh
good.
goodness, God, yeah, she's with us tonight. Hey, Florence. Um, Now Jean likes cream of wheat with apples and cinnamon. Now,
What?
I think I might be able to try that because I like my oatmeal with apples and cinnamon. I think I might be able to eat it. But
If
with
you
apples
ever meet face to face, I'm gonna make you some cream of wheat.
Okay, okay, okay. All right, I'll try it. I'll try it. I can eat grits, so I should be able to eat cream of wheat because my grits are full of sugar and butter.
Mhm.
I like those grits.
Hey, you put sugar and butter in your grits, and you're from the South?
Uh huh. I
Oh,
do. That's
I
the only I
thought
learned.
Beth did that.
That's the only way I would eat them as a child,
Mhm.
and so I've stayed with it. Kim said an old cookbook that she has is the cookbook that tells you how. That's the name of it. The cookbook that tells you how. Ah, I like that.
I had
Well,
it. I had it out. I must have put it away earlier,
uh-huh.
but it was the old cookbook that I got at the secondhand shop, and it taught you how to make things, but then it also had pictures to show you how to do it.
Oh,
It was
neat.
so cool. I think I
Oh,
got it for like 350 or something, but and Beth
uh,
Pugh is
Beth
here.
Shu is with us tonight. Hello, hello. Um, so limitless. All right. We want to feel like home. Absolutely. Now,
Yeah.
um, E. Starkey said that she puts raisins in hers too. Now, I don't know about raisins.
See raisins and oatmeal.
Yes, yes. Now, I like the raisins and oatmeals. Tutu Loves Minnie said that she'll bring her vegetables in the house and put them on the table, but she said her husband won't eat them. So she said she uses him as an excuse to skip them herself. And she knows she needs to ignore him and choose healthy for her. And that's so true. Now,
Mhm.
Tutu, I know we've talked about this for a long time with those vegetables because back when we were doing more meat free recipes along the way, we talked about those vegetables. And sometimes you're going to have to slip those vegetables in where they
Mhm.
may not necessarily see it. But Art, try to find some vegetable that he really does like and kind of focus on that. Kim says she purchased the new cooking school cookbook after we talked about it on the show. Great, great. I
Oh.
hope you like it. I hope you like it. I do. I
So do
really
you use your cookbooks when you're doing your one plan, 1 month, one shot? Do you?
very often,
Mhm.
very often. I if I'm focusing on a particular book,
Mhm.
then I will pick maybe two recipes out of a particular book. Like a couple weeks ago, or sometimes I do it for the month, a particular cookbook. Like for this month, I did three recipes out of the original crock pot. And I
Mhm.
did two recipes out of the Fix It and Forget It, even though I didn't do it in the crock pot. But
Mhm.
I did a couple recipes out of there. And so then I just keep those cookbooks handy so I know I can refer to them, quickly. But yes, I do keep them handy, and it's so nice because when you jot it down in your planner, then you're going to put the name of the cookbook, that, of course, that you're going to use, put the page, and
Page
I
number.
put a post-it note in there, and I'm trying to see if I've done it on one of these. Sometimes I use, no, I didn't do it on one of these, but sometimes I use actually tape, scotch tape, just clear tape. And I'll take that page and make a little tab there. And then that way I can just flip to it,
Yeah.
very quickly, to be able to
Okay.
get in it. But it's so
I
easy.
use like my planner. I'll write, like, there's pages in my planner that I can put, like if I've got meal ideas for the
Mhm,
month or for the week, I can put them there, and then I can choose, okay, so which ones am I going to cook this week and which ones will I use next week,
mhm.
that kind of thing. But you can't just do a notebook too. Like, you have that cute little new notebook thing that you've got. But some people just like to do a plain old notebook.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think of who it was. Last week, someone put in the comments that um, no, it was yesterday. Put in the comments the fact that they have a planner, and that their planner, the one I was showing in the video yesterday, was the large Happy Planner
Hmm.
Classic. So it has a lot of room to be able to do a lot with. Now my everyday carry that I actually put in my purse is that Jaboon Techo that I was telling you that I use,
Hmm.
and it really is small, but it fits in my
I like
purse.
that it'll fit in your purse.
It will fit in my purse, so it just fits right in my purse. And I have this with me all the time. Now, of course, I still decorate and do all the stuff to it,
Hmm.
but um, I had sent a message out to her to let her know that if you want to add, like you want a meal page in there, and I do that every now and then. I just tip in. Let's see if I can hold on. Let me see if I can turn this off. Okay, so it's not so much of a glare.
There you
I will tip in a page, an extra page, to
go.
be able
Hmm.
to put in, like I had the crumble cookie recipe, and I just tipped that in so that I had that right there.
Hmm.
And I tipped in some other things over here that I could put in. So this is in the middle of the week that allows me to, I'm in the week, I've got what I need, and it doesn't interfere still with me being able to put the things down that I'm doing for that particular week. And so, um,
I
it gives
think
me
the
like,
nice thing about that, though, too, is it helps you to track, and you
mhm,
can go back. And if you had some recipes that you really like that week,
mhm.
then you can try them later in the month or even the next month. You can go back and pick those up. So I really like the way you do that.
Yeah. And so, like, this is, I don't know if, well, I don't know if I told you, at church, they've asked me to do a class on dinner rolls.
I don't go
So,
to church.
so next month, in the month of March, before Easter, because they wanted to be able to learn how to make these rolls before Easter, and because they wanted to have rolls for Easter. So
Mm.
I've promised a little group of about 10 people that we're going to take an afternoon and we're going to make rolls. And so I'm,
FaceTime me in.
huh?
Can you FaceTime me in,
I can.
please?
And I thought, It was so fun. I thought they were playing at first when they asked, and no, they're serious. They're serious. So anyway, so I like what I'm doing here is that I've put together what the little kits are going to look like, with what they're going to need in their kits, and then
Oh,
for me, all of my notes that I'm going to need. So when I pick this up, I'll have all of my notes right there in my purse with me, and just ready to go. Now, so back to our home. One
yeah,
more
we
thing.
better get to item number 4.
Let me find it.
We've been chatting quite a bit, and I'm like, okay, we've been on an hour, and we're just getting to number 4.
We've gotten to number 4. Okay. All right. So Denise is keeping me on track, guys, because
Right.
we'll get carried away. Um, One of the things, and I did stick that. Denise, go in with number 4 because I've stuck.
Well, item number 4 that Leona had on the list was to teach kids to cook and enjoy food. So when we talk about making the best use of our kitchen, having those kids in the kitchen chopping little things with you can help them begin to learn how to do things that so that they can begin to prepare meals. But also, if they're invested in the preparation, they're more likely to eat it.
Exactly. Exactly. I finally found it. I had sat the cookbooks on top of it. But you're absolutely right. And that kind of goes back to Brianna when she was doing her Spanish class. Who would have thought that she would have selected to do an Ebony, Ivy, and Time International
That
and
is
prepare a dish in Spanish for her class? And that was so cute. And I felt so honored. But she talks about the fact that, and when she called me, she talked about the fact, she said, I have so much fun in the kitchen cooking with you. And so she's able to share the love out of this kitchen and
Mhm.
take it into someone else's. So, that's something that makes
It's going to be in her kitchen when she has her own kitchen one day.
you are absolutely right. I told her I'm going to pass it down. We're going to pass the baton when the time comes. I'm looking forward to it. Now, Denise had talked about stocking and being smart about stocking and organizing your pantry. And we say pantry, but we know that we have more than one pantry.
Yeah.
So, you have your main pantry, you've got your refrigerator, and you probably have a freezer with that. And some of us have a freezer in the garage. Some
They
even
used to
have
call it a deep freeze or an upright.
that's right. And some of us even have another refrigerator out in the garage. And as well as we may have a spot where we have designated as our kind of stockpile of those
Mhm.
extra things. And I'm thankful for that because just recently, this time last week, I had no power. And if you remember when I came on with Miss Denise last week, it was kind of spur of the moment. And the
Mhm.
reason for that was because I hadn't seen her email. And that was because we had no power. We had been 9 hours without power. So fortunately, I had things in the pantry that we could eat, I could prepare, that was easy to do. And so food was not an issue. Now, was staying warm an issue? Yes, it was, because the house got down to about less, when it goes down less than 60, it's cold. And
Mhm.
so, but anyway, but the good news was, the big guy wasn't hungry. No, we weren't hungry. We were fine. We were able to survive. But
Mhm.
you think about the fact they were talking on the news tonight about finding people who had who were frozen to death,
Oh,
and some were homeless. But there was one case where the family was in the car
they got
and
stuck in the car?
got stuck on the road, and the children, the youngest child, froze to death from
Oh,
hypothermia, which is just heartbreaking. And
oh.
so, you think about those things, and true enough, it wasn't necessarily food related, but they do tell you that if you're going through something like that, you need to eat. because that helps to keep your energy level, keeps your body working. And so, snacks, all of those things, when they tell you to put your blankets and your snacks and your kitty litter in that car when you're traveling during bad weather, they're not kidding.
Yeah,
Take it, take that advice and use it, because, you
oh
know, it
goodness.
was heartbreaking to think about that something like that would happen. Now, what is your go-to meal that you can make with your eyes closed, guys? I want you to put it in the chat real quick, because I know we're on just a little bit later than we usually are, but what is your go-to meal? I want to know, because we've been talking about all of these wonderful things, and certainly I see Beth Shua is talking about oh, look, Beth Shua said, I love cream of wheat
With sweet condensed milk and butter.
and butter. Yes, I
Okay,
like sweet.
right that way.
I
That's
haven't tried that, but now sometimes I put sweetened condensed milk in my coffee.
I have been known to do that without it having cream.
Mm-hmm.
We're
And
getting
it's
some good recipes over there too.
I know.
Tommy is leaving a message for you.
Let's see. Who is it?
Tommy Bites Homestead.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Hold on. Let me find her.
She's above
Oh,
that.
there she is. I see her. Uh, Darn, I had her. What happened? I lost her. Uh,
She's right above that shoe about another refrigerator in the basement.
okay. I got my late grandmother, Beth Shue is talking about there. Sugar and grits. Is it past where she's talking about the oh, I see, when my niece came. Oh, here's Tommy. Uh Bathsheba. Oh yeah, with the refrigerator. Oh, Tommy, thank you so much. Glad I'm feeling better, girl. I am too, because there is nothing worse, than not being able to move like you want to, and then after being without power last week, I ended up with a terrible cold. So fortunately, that's passed as well. Bathsheba says that she has another refrigerator in the basement. She said it came in handy when she needed storage for the green beans that she froze from her garden. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's certainly something that I know my mom used to do a lot of. Now, Stephanie Tim says she loves grits, but she's never had cream of wheat. Oh, that's so sweet. She loves the broadcast. Thank you so much. Nita said that chicken stew in the winter. Nita B, you must have been reading my mind, because guess what Saturday's video is on? Chicken stew.
Hey, I love
oh,
chicken too.
oh, Bathsheba says she likes chicken, rice, and green beans. Me
So
too.
they're answering what when you ask the question about what's their
Mhm.
go-to meal, chicken, rice,
Uh-huh.
beans.
Kim said her go-to meal is chili or pot roast. All right, all right. Jean is chili. Uh, Wise woman Lola said it's spaghetti, tacos, chicken, and rice. She can do it without. She doesn't even have to. She doesn't even have to pull out a recipe. She's got it.
Mm-hmm.
So Limitless said that roasted chicken thighs and rice. All right.
Notice how much chicken and rice.
I know. Chicken is the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Grandbaby likes spaghetti or beefaroni. Oh, yum, yum. I like those too. And they are so easy to do. I think beefaroni was, and in fact, spaghetti too, was probably one of the first recipes that I could do without, as a young cook, without a recipe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Hazel said baked chicken. Tamia says she loves cream of wheat. It warms you up from the inside out. She ate it for dinner last night. How about that?
Ultimate comfort food.
Absolutely. I guess that's the way it is. Oven fried chicken. Oh my goodness, forever flowering. That sounds amazing.
Well,
That's
my
good.
go-to is like roast chicken and
Mhm.
mashed potatoes and gravy and green beans. And if
Absolutely.
I'm really in a hurry, and I usually keep a box of stovetop cornbread dressing in the pantry. So
Mhm.
in a pinch, I can make that, and I always have cranberry sauce on my shelf, which nobody's gonna eat that. But me, some people eat that, but I will. So that's my go-to.
Now, when we say we're sisters by another mister, it's the truth because I've got 5 cans of cranberry sauce sitting in the pantry now. I love cranberry sauce.
I eat it
I
every
can
week.
put it on biscuits in the morning, have it with rolls for dinner. Oh my gosh, I love my cranberry sauce.
Mhm.
Terry likes orange chicken, curried rice, green beans, almondine. Ooh, that sounds fancy and good. That's delicious. Now, Jean says that she likes a variety of sauteed vegetables. Okay, that's healthy.
Nice and healthy.
And Hazel, she said her stir fries, her quick go to. Bathsheba likes chili and a red lentil soup. Now,
Mhm.
Tommy is saying that her brother-in-law had been sick, but the doctor said it was not the flu or anything, and it was not contagious. And now her sister's sick. She makes sure to have the meals ready for them if they get sick. So I'm saying that you're making sure that you get the meals ready, or
I think her sister makes
her
sure she
sister tries to make sure if
like
they're
when you
ready.
have the chicken in the oven when you got sick and big guy
Yeah,
had.
and now she's fixing for him. I see what you're saying.
Mhm.
Well, I tell you what, Tommy, this has been an interesting season. And as far as illnesses have been concerned, and in talking to the doctor, um, flu, the there's a virus, that's the norovirus that's been going around, RSV, and
And
pneumonia
COVID is still here.
and COVID. We can't leave it out because it's still out there.
And pneumonia.
And I tell you, people have been coming into the doctor's offices and they are giving you. Conway was calling for something minor that he needed to see the doctor about. Good Lord, by the time they got through asking all the questions, because they don't want anybody coming in that office that's sick with any of those 5 things.
You a telehealth appointment.
That's right. That's right. And so many families have not only had one of the things, but they've had multiples. And that's been the problem.
Hmm.
So Ruth says she likes super Vinny kind. Uh, we got Audrey who said she makes an easy curry chicken and rice. I tell you what, chicken and rice is the hot item
Yeah.
tonight.
And look here, look at Dragon Queen.
I see Dragon Queen over here. Dragons.
Michelle's daughter, Michelle Nelson.
Oh,
That
is
her
that who that is?
daughter.
Oh, chicken cooked with an Instapot and fresh homemade flatbread.
Yeah.
Yum. The chicken gets so soft it just falls off the bone. Oh, that sounds wonderful. Oh, a good meal planner. Now, are you referring to the meal planner as far as Terry? You want a list of meals? Now, I don't know if you've been out to did you see on the community tab where I listed, I'm almost sure it was 30 different meal ideas that gave you a starter for being able to put your meals together? Or are you looking for a chart as such? So let me know which you're looking for. And we can certainly have that meal planner available. Tommy was saying that her youngest grandson, 5 months old, has RSV,
Oh,
and many daycares and schools have been closing for cleanings. You are absolutely right. And
we had schools closed here in town a couple weeks ago. The whole school, they had 130 kids and teachers out.
oh,
Acute illness is all they said, but still.
yeah, they
Mhm.
don't want to tell what it is, but some of it's RSV, some of it's flu.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I usually try to put a spin on it, but I'm thinking, for us, it's been a divine thing for us to end up with snow 2 weeks in a row, and the kids have not had to be at school. And so that it gave them time enough for some of those germs to, pass. And the kids have been able to get back into school, and hopefully they won't be sick.
Well,
But
she says she's looking for an actual book or notebook to use.
oh, a notebook to use. Okay.
Actual book or notebook. So
Okay. Now, as far as a meal planner notebook, I don't know that you'll necessarily find one whole notebook, but if you just want a planner, I certainly recommend the Happy Planner Classic. It's a nice size, and actually they come in three. Excuse me, actually four now. They have one that is slim. So if you're planning to focus your planner more for meal planning, then the Happy Planner Slim would be nice for that, because it's horizontal. It has the days of the week and gives you enough space to go through, put your meals in, and you could even put in whatever, grocery needs that you might have. It's just the right size. And in fact, the one that I was showing you, this one, this is an A5, but it would be about half of this size in width. So you wouldn't necessarily have to have something this big. But now this is the Jabun Techo. And like I said, it's an A5, but an A5 is like taking a piece of an 8.5 by 11 and folding it in half, just to get a good reference for your size. It's about that size. And it gives you plenty of writing space. And, sometimes once you get into it, then you're going to find that you'll add even more things. If you want to be able to add the recipe onto a page, if you have a new recipe, that gives you an option.
Do a live stream where you show us how you put that together.
Okay, I think I will. That sounds good. And we'll be able to
tell us what we need to bring, and ready. We can make it.
That'll be a lot of fun. A lot of fun to do. Now, guys, we didn't quite finish everything, but I think, in looking, we've talked about prioritizing our time at the table, making sure that we're using that time to teach manners, talk about manners, to work on our conversation skills, and of course, to bring homemade meals to the table. And also, the last step was to be able to create those special moments. Now is the time. I know we've suggested this, to be able to take the time and to offer a special Sunday dinner each week. And it can be just, and to really bring the family together. And whether it's just your family or it's an extended family, I might invite my daughter, because she lives close, she and her family, to come over. And we have a joint family meal, but it's a time for all of us to sit down and get caught up. And so conversation, this is what it's all about, bringing our families together. So as I'm looking, Terry, I will work. I'm sorry. Okay.
You had a question, and I can't remember who it was. Might have been Dolores. They wanted to know, did you have a suggestion for how to cook salmon? The best way to cook salmon.
I love, and I do my salmon.
You knew not to ask me.
I prepare my salmon. I typically grill it in the oven. And I usually, about 30 minutes before I'm getting ready to fix the salmon, I cut it into its portions. I'll sprinkle it with, if you want something quick, and you can certainly sprinkle it with something as simple as Italian dressing, and add just a little touch of extra pepper to it, and put it under the grill. But keep this in mind. You do not want to cook that salmon until it is so dry that no one wants to eat it. So you do want to make sure that it stays moist. If you're worried about that, then wrap it in foil, like a little pocket, You know how we used to do when we went to camp and we put our food in a pocket? Well, put your salmon in the pocket. And that will keep your salmon nice and moist. Sometimes I'll even lay little slices of lemon on top of it and with a little drizzle of some honey and cook it in its pocket, open it up, and let it stay open for about 5 minutes or so, just enough to get those little nice little grilled ends around the salmon. But when you cut into that salmon, it's moist and it's perfect. So I do salmon a lot. I love it. And I always do it in the oven. That is not Miss Denise's thing. I don't like cream of wheat. She doesn't like fish.
And I'm married to the big fisherman of the Midwest.
I know, and I so wish I could be close because I would love to have some of that fish.
Yeah.
But you know, guys, this has been such a wonderful, wonderful evening. And I hope all of you have been able to get a little bit of something out of it, if nothing else, to say, you know, we're really trying. And I know you are, because as I read your responses, and Miss Denise is reading your responses, very often we'll get on the phone and we'll start talking about, did you see where so-and-so said such and such? And we will be able to pull from that our next show for something that we need. What do you see?
I see
Hazel.
9:12, Girl Dad at 9:12 p.m. Girl Dad cooking up
Girl
delicious.
Dad.
That he must be new. He's not been.
I've never seen Girl Dad. How about that? Hello, we're glad you're here with us tonight. Talk to us. Who are you? And give us a little hint as to what's going on.
We're here every Wednesday, 7:45 at p.m. And then somebody else had a note.
Okay, Ruth. Ruth is trying to figure out how to find the channel. I am Ebony Ivy in Time. Let me type this in. With Leona. And there you go, Ruth. I'm putting it down in the comments right below you. And Ebony Ivy in Time with Leona. That's my channel on YouTube. And this just happens to be our Wednesday night session that we have where we can get together as home cooks and homemakers, and have fun talking about the things that are important to us. Jean said that she has really had an enjoyable time. I am so glad that you have been with us. Good. Lots of great ideas and encouragement.
We had some of that banana bread that Hazel got.
I know, Hazel. Now I'm going to have to think about that for tomorrow. That's going to be awfully good. And considering I can't go anywhere because it's snowing like crazy outside. So I'm going to have to work on that. And I'm going to put that on my list for tomorrow because the big guy loves a good banana bread.
Banana bread too.
Mm-hmm. And Bashu is saying that she loves salmon. She likes to pan fry it and cook it skin side down for most of the cooking time. Oh, yes, because you get that nice crispy skin. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I have a friend that even fries her salmon the same way you do other fish. Like if you wanted to have fried catfish, she fries her salmon that way. And so it's nice for a change. But if you want to stay healthy, then either do it the pan fry or do it in the oven. Oh, Molly, thank you. We're glad that you are here with us tonight. And Audrey said, thank you for the live. You are so welcome. So have a blessed week. Now, I know Miss Denise is going to be on and she's going to be working those lives for a little while longer. And she's going to be teaching us all kinds of great things. And I will be looking for a meal planner. And in fact, I'm going to be putting together a meal planner live so that we can do that and put our planners together right here on the channel. So we'll work on that. And you never know, there might be a Wednesday night where we have a planner night. And that would be so much fun.
Mhm.
So, ladies, gentlemen, I'm glad that oh, here's Girl Dad. Girl Dad, glad I found your live. Y'all have a new subscription. I love your channel. Thank
Now,
you
girl, Dad,
so.
remember, we're two channels.
That's right. We're two.
Channels.
I'm Ebony Ivy and Time, and that's where you came in tonight to my channel, to Life of a Home Cook. And Miss Denise is Homemaking with Denise.
Mhm.
And both of those links, the link is down in my description box.
Mhm.
And tonight we're on my channel. Next week, Girl Dad, we're going to be on Miss Denise's channel. So you're not going to want to miss it. So it's going to be a good discussion at
And if you want
7:40.
to learn more cooking,
Oh, yeah.
girlfriend cooks it up over there.
So we have a great time together. So as well as individually. So we are two channels. So keep that in mind. All right, guys. Y'all need to go to bed. We've
Yeah.
all got to get up in the morning and do something fun. So they're jumping on that planner night. They're ready.
Tomorrow.
Are you?
Every Thursday.
All right. All right. Well, mwah, to all of you, have a wonderful night. Thank you, Miss Denise, for
Thank you.
coming on tonight. This was so much fun. Don't go anywhere.
Okay.
And I will see you all next time. Enjoy.